And the 64 has a new home. Welcome back to the channel. Sorry I've been gone for a couple weeks, but hay has been busy and is now completely finished for first cut anyway. And as you can tell, the old 64 Chrysler is on the garage pad. No garage, of course, but I might as well make use of a nice flat surface because I got a lot of jack stand work I need to do, getting lifted up here, and then also it'll be a little easier to pull that engine out. So we're now on to the next part of the project. Oh, ignore that. Forget you saw it. Video for later on. Anyway, the next part of the project, we got to pull the drive shaft out of this thing. Now, it shouldn't be too hard as long as the bolts come out good. Ugh. But my jack stands aren't very tall, and I didn't feel comfortable blocking them up to make them taller. So I don't think I'm going to be able to fit my tripod under here. But I do have 4 small bolts holding the cross together at the back. And then up here, as you can see right there, at the tail end of the tranny, there's a coupler as well with 4 larger bolts. And once I pull those, should be able to pull that drive shaft right out of there. So I'm going to grab some wrenches and get at it. So as usual, just like most of the bolts in this car, they're very easy to get everything out. I'm trying to do this one-handed because yes, my tripod's too tall to fit under here. But the 4 bolts holding these horseshoe clips on here for the cross, for the drive shaft, it's just a 7/16 wrench is all you need to get them off. There's 4 of them, 2 on this side, 2 on the other. I am fortunate that the parking brake lever works, so I'm able to lock the transmission to turn these. If not, you'd have to block the tire or something because it does turn quite freely anyway. So I'm just going to pull these out, then we'll move on to the front. Well, looks like I can sneak that thing under there. So now, I'm just gonna, this should just pop out just like that. And my cup is coming out, which I don't want to come out yet. I still need to move it around, but in the end it doesn't really matter. This cross kit will be replaced anyway. So, but I'd really like to have the bearings stay together for the time being. So I'm going to have to get around to the other side here and see if I can yank that off. I can get in this side a little better, I think. There we go. Go. There we go. Yeah, there goes all the little needle bearings. Oh well. Not a big deal. There we go. So now we're up here on the tail end of the transmission to the front of this drive shaft. And these 4 bolts are 9/16. Now you're gonna have to use, unfortunately, unless you have some really thin sockets, you're gonna have to use an open end wrench because the box won't fit on either side. And even my socket is too thick to fit in between this adapter and the bolt head. So these here, though, I'm lucky enough that they're coming off. And they're not even spinning on the backside, so I don't know if these are pressed in or if it's just the rust and the dirt is keeping them in. But anyway, these are coming off nice, so I'll be able to remove the two bottom ones, take the transmission at a park, or at a park, rotate the shaft over, and then get the other two. Well, I'd like to say that this was just as easy as taking the back one off, but oh my goodness, not fun. Not fun at all. So you got your wrench, also a hammer, a good pry bar, and a screwdriver. The coupling that's on the drive shaft here is actually recessed into a pocket or a socket that's here, and this is perfectly clean in here, not a bit of rust. There's still a little bit of grease, but it is in there. There's some kind of seal. I can see the mark of it that goes all the way around. Maybe it's a grease seal or just a fiber seal. I'm not sure, but what a time to get that out of there. And because it's recessed inside this pocket, you know, couldn't even really get a screwdriver in there. It was kind of, you had to hit around it with the hammer. A little crack started, so you just start wiggling the edge and finally work its way out. And then of course, you know, when it's time to come out, it's not correct unless you drop the drive shaft on your hand. So it was a little heavier than I thought. Not real heavy, but heavier than I was expecting. And give a good whack on the old knuckles. So anyway, get this drive shaft out from underneath the car and move on to the next step. Now with that drive shaft out, I can see it's not really a seal, it's some kind of metal tin plate, and it's wrapped over the edge. And obviously this is the cap that holds the U-joint in there, which is probably inside, and then the boot's ripped, so I'll have to look for a new boot. It does feel pretty smooth inside there. And then on the other end, the U-joint in here still moves really nice, and there's grease inside of it when it come apart. And the best I can tell, I looked over it, there's no dents or dings in this drive shaft. There's no heavy rust, so maybe just a quick light sanding and a little bit of rust preventive spray or something on it to stop it from rusting anymore, and we'll just clean that up and give her a quick shot of paint for underneath the car. Now the next part is going to be an ordeal. I have this tranny line and the tranny line in behind it, so the two tranny lines have to come off. I have my linkage for my throttle, which I think is the kick down. I'm not sure which one's which, but then I have the parking cable that goes into the transmission. Then I also have all the linkages for the the manual push button transmission. So there's quite a bit going on in here I got to get off. And then somewhere's in here, oh, here it is down here actually, I got my speedometer to undo, and then I think the tack must be up on the engine. I'm not sure where that cable is yet, I haven't found that. But anyway, get parking lever, speedometer, two tranny lines, and then all the shifting linkages unhooked. Oh, and before I go, to make things even better, the transmission's filled with fluid, and there's no drain plug I can find anywhere. So I guess I just crack a line, probably the lower line, which is here, and I guess it just starts coming out. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna dig through this dirt here to see if I can, maybe there's one hidden, but I definitely don't see one. Alright, so here's where we're at. I've got the park lock removed. I've got the speedometer cable pulled out. We have, let's see here, oh, the neutral safety switch wires removed, and also the kick down linkage is removed. Now it's still attached to the transmission here, but the little linkage that pops in here, that goes up to the pedal and to the frame of the car, that's been removed, so it's good to go. I decided that I'm leaving the transmission cooler lines on. They're only mounted to the frame itself up here and by the starter, so they're not actually on the car, they're on just the frame of the transmission, so they're staying. This friggin' thing here, this is your shift lever or cable for your push button. So, you know, first, second, third, neutral, reverse. This thing here took me over an hour to get out of that hole. Searched online everywhere, can't find any information on this at all. I came across one thread that said, oh, you just put a screwdriver through this hole, down the side of the threaded piece, and undo the clip. Well, this is like 2 inches down inside that little hole. So it told me and warned me not to change this disc, because this is the setting for like when you push reverse, you're actually in reverse, not in first or second or something like that. Impossible. Had to undo it. I undid this adjustment all the way off, so I took it off, and I was able to get a screwdriver down here. There was a socket you can see right there, and there is some kind of spring clip. I don't know what it looks like. I don't even know if it's still there, but I shoved screwdrivers in there and I twisted and pried and bend and pushed and jiggled just like they showed, and I heard a little pop and it came out finally. So good thing I'm taking the transmission apart, because there's probably a clip broken or shot off that's down inside there. But this was hard. This was tough. Now, I don't do this on a regular basis, so other people might find it easy, but to me this is just horrible. So the next step, we get everything else disconnected. There's 2 bolts for the tail of the transmission where it mounts to there's a big spring here which takes up the cushion. So you get 2 bolts for the transmission mount to come off. The starter, the positive wire in the starter, which I think actually I might just leave on there until I get it out. And then the motor mounts up on the front side under the hood. Those are the next things to come off. Now with the transmission mounts undone, there's one other thing I kind of overlooked here, but I had to take off. This is the whole throttle linkage. This attaches to your pedal, goes all the way down to the transmission for the kickdown. Then this rod here goes right up to your throttle body. So one side of it is locked into the transmission housing. There's a little bracket with I guess a nylon bushing there, and then it was bolted with 3 bolts there, so it had to come off. So now we got to get the engine mounts off. Looks like there's 1 bolt on each side. We're gonna have to take the exhaust manifold off this side to get at it. But on this side, it's clear and easy to get to right here. I'll just use a little universal on the end of the socket. I'll be able to yank that off. So I ended up taking off the other exhaust manifold. It just made it easier to get down to that motor mount. But again, I was able to get all 6 bolts off without breaking. So I got that motor mount off, this motor mount off, and theoretically the engine and transmission is just sitting in here. I don't think there's anything else I have left to disconnect. There's always that one thing that you say, oops, should have checked that in the end. But I do believe that all connections and all wires are disconnected. Now, I would think there would be a vent tube or something on that transmission. I'm not sure, but I cannot see it. It's probably on the top side. If it gets ripped off, oh well, it's just a rubber tube. But unfortunately, this has taken me just about all day, and I am running out of light fast. So I'm gonna clean things up. Gotta get the wife to the store. She wants to do a little shopping before the night ends, work in the morning. And next video, hopefully, we'll be pulling that engine out. So again, thanks for watching. Thumbs up is greatly appreciated. If you come across this channel and you're not subscribed, why don't you just click that button? I would love it. I would love to make 1,000 subscribers and followers. And also, again, on Instagram, just search Dushane's Corner, and on TikTok at Dushane's Corner as well. I'd be happy if you followed along there as well. Sometimes there's little bits and pieces that I release early, and just other little videos that maybe I don't make the final cut, but I do post them there. So again, thanks for watching. Have yourselves a great week. Catch you again later.